I'll let you know what the plan is for today once it actually starts. Just check the announcement real quick, make sure everything is up the way that I want. Awesome. All right. Happy Wednesday. Awesome to see you guys. A couple things that I want to accomplish today. Second thing that we'll do, I'll start with this, is just take one more day to practice what we've been working on. And I would love it to be more of like you seeing what you can do without me. And if you can, like without looking back at notes for every single problem. Trying to build that long-term memory of these skills and kind of getting that, the steps, same steps. And so I've got another classwork for you guys to work on today. I want you to stick around and do it though. This is not one where I'm gonna send you on your way. I want you to stick around and just knock it out because there's only 5 problems here. One with all positives, one with like different kind of organization of negatives, and then one like number 7 from yesterday with that B value missing. So, but what I want to do first before that is I want to talk about next year, registration coming up for next year. Now I know we might have a couple seniors. Seniors, obviously you don't have to worry about the registration piece. Seniors, I have something else for you on today's announcement. If you're interested, it's optional, but I would love to hear from you. If you look at today's announcement, seniors, you go down to that like kind of like bottom section. It says you can skip what's listed above and instead fill out this form to send me some info or ask some questions regarding your plans for after graduation. One of my favorite things to do and why I like teaching juniors and seniors is because this is that point where you start to think about transitioning out of high school and what you want to do with life after that. Finally gain some independence and figure out maybe a career path or what you want to do in terms of, do I want to go to school or not? Do I want to jump into the workforce or whatever? So seniors, I've got that form that you can fill out that I would like to hear from you. And I think one of the reasons I really enjoy that part of this, and this goes for everybody really, I like helping everybody make those kind of choices. It's because I've had a lot of different life experiences. Like you guys don't really know me all that well. I've done a lot of things, been a lot of places, made plenty of mistakes. And I like to try to share some of that knowledge that I've gained along the way to help kind of guide you and help you make that choice. Not necessarily making all the same choices I made, but maybe avoiding some of the mistakes that I made along the way. There are plenty, I got plenty of regrets, but the path has led me here and I'm happy with that. So seniors, you can ignore me and fill out that form. Everybody else, what I want you to do is click on the link on today's announcement that says 21-22 math course request form. This is absolutely unofficial. Absolutely, this is not your selection necessarily for next year. If you're a sophomore or junior right now, so next year's juniors and seniors. I'm gonna actually share my screen so I can point at some stuff so you can kind of hear and see what I'm talking about at the same time. Let me present entire screen. Okay, on this course request, this is how I'm gonna kind of just keep track of what you think you wanna take next semester. And eventually it will be kind of my guide as to how everybody has made their choice. Both as individuals, because I think you making the best individual choice is important, but also helping me figure out where my classes are collectively heading. So we can start to think about how many sections we need of what kind of class and stuff like that. So, so really the most important part right now is that you scroll down to the pathways, this image that looks like this, kind of like 2/3 of the way down. This is almost, if not all-inclusive, organized way for you to figure out where you might be headed next year. And I want to talk about what your choices are, what that looks like in terms of difficulty and workloads. Who's teaching what is really up in the air, so I really can't say with any certainty. I can guess, but your guess is as good as mine sometimes. And then just kind of talk to you about each class, what you'd be studying, depending on what you are thinking about doing. If you're a junior next year, like maybe what you want to take the year after that, kind of decides what you should take next year. But if you're going to be senior next year, trying to figure out what class is best for you depends on a few things. How well you've done this year, and what you want to do after senior year. So looking at this, I'm going to move this down because I'm going to move myself down unless you can still see me talking. And I'm going to point out some stuff. So here we are right now. Whether you're a sophomore or a junior, let's say we're just right here right now, and then Algebra II, you can see what you're kind of being groomed for after that is a class that I consider like Algebra III, which we call college algebra, okay? So that's option number one. Now, it's 2 different semesters. One's called high school college algebra, so it kind of bridges the gap from what you've learned so far to kind of get you up to a more advanced level of algebra, just kind of continuing to build some skills. And then the second semester is really college algebra, and you see this ACC thing right here, and really any of the ones that have that gold background, if you sign up for any of these classes, you are signing up for concurrent enrollments to earn college credit with ACC. Okay, these are ACC, Arapahoe Community College classes that you are signing up for that are taught by teachers here at Ponderosa. You don't have to go anywhere. The course is paid for. But the student fees and textbook is not. So if you sign up for any of these classes here, you are earning ACC credit. I think the only one would be the spring semester right there that says the ACC MAT for math, and then that's the course 121. The high school college algebra is more just like a prereq to warm you up for that class. So knowing that, right, classes in gold, you can see the third bullet down here, classes in gold are concurrent enrollment classes with college credit through ACC. And whether you go to ACC or not, there is some transferability. There's no guaranteed transfer of those credits, but it's a community college credit that you're earning. They're taught at Ponderosa with the tuition paid for by the district, but you are responsible for any like student fees or textbooks. And I don't have prices on that just yet. But what I do know is it will be cheaper than the CU Denver classes that we used to teach, including this year. I'm teaching a CU Denver called CU Succeed. That's a few $100s. It's almost $300. I would guess that classes like this, each one would be around $100 between student fees and textbook. But again, that is just a complete shot in the dark. I do not have actual numbers on that, okay? And it's not an option. If you sign up for this class right here, directly across from Algebra II, you are signing up for ACC credit and you are responsible for those fees, okay? If you were feeling a little bit stronger in your math skills, maybe you feel like you're really not challenged at all here and you want to earn potentially some more ACC credit, you can come down a level here. This is just our traditional pathway, right? You can come down a level and you can choose to do college algebra first semester and then either college trig or intro to statistics, or both. If you want to take 2 math classes, you can certainly do that during that second semester. And you would be earning more college credit to do that. Again, paying for each one. All of these classes here are certainly more difficult than this one, okay? Now, we don't know who's teaching what yet. But what I can tell you right now is that I'm teaching either these or these, but we don't know which one yet, okay? Because only myself and Mrs. Gibson, as of right now, have the education ourselves. I have a master's degree plus graduate credits in math. So I have a bachelor's in mathematics, I have a teaching certificate, I've got a master's of education, And I've got graduate math credits after that, which qualifies me to be a college professor. Really, I'm a college professor also teaching in high school. It's kind of, so if you want to call me Dr. Rosie, I'm cool with that. I just don't know which set yet. If I had to speculate, and this is complete speculation, my guess is I would be down here with the more advanced ones, because right now I'm teaching this, Honors Pre-Calc, Calc A. So it's a little bit similar of a transition for me rather than dropping down a little bit more, okay? So option number one, ACC credit in the spring, a slightly easier class because it's kind of like Algebra 3 throughout the whole year, but still, I think, more challenging than Algebra 2. Option number two is to really challenge yourself, and you really want to feel like this year has been super easy in general, and that you want to earn more college credit, that you don't mind the fees that go along with it. And again, that's probably a conversation that you're going to want to have with the folks that would be paying for that class if it's not you. And kind of thinking about, do I want to go college algebra, college trig route? Do I want to go to college algebra intro to statistics route? Do I want to do both? Because maybe I'm trying to get as many college credits as I can while I'm here. And it's certainly a lot cheaper to take these classes in high school than they would be to take them in college, because you don't have to pay the tuition, okay? So there's a couple options. For those of you that want to continue on with algebra because you're feeling good about your algebra skills, you're probably looking at, you either got an A last semester or a pretty solid B. You've got a decent work ethic, your schedule next year won't be too crazy, and that you can make that class a priority, okay? Again, no idea who's teaching which one, but it's either myself or Miss Gibson as of right now, okay? The other set of options are down here for seniors only. Okay, juniors, I'll give you my options here in a second, but seniors, you're looking at probably one of these two classes here in white, okay? Either the semester senior math electives, data and decisions first semester, and probability and statistics second semester. Those are probably going to be your easiest, if I had to put a name on it, easiest math classes, not necessarily super, super easy. I'm teaching one of them right now, and Ms. Sigmund is teaching the other right now. Not sure if that will stay the same, but I anticipate that it might. Those are great classes that teach you a lot of more applicable skills to actually being a human being. Learning how to analyze data and make decisions about it, and then understanding probability and statistics, which we really haven't seen yet because we've done algebra and we've done geometry, right? You haven't gotten into stuff like this, okay? Or maybe you want to focus on a class that talks about statistics all year long, okay? Statistical reasoning is a year-long stats class. No college credit here, right? Only college credit here. A year-long stats class. And the full name of this course should probably be Statistical Reasoning in Sports, okay? Most of the topics in statistics, and that's all brand new stuff, right? You haven't learned any statistics yet, really. Most of the things that are taught in this class right here are taught from a sports perspective, okay? So if that's something that you are really into, if you're more of a sports girl or a sports guy, maybe that's a class where you say, okay, I know I have to take a math. I'm thinking about taking a math class. And maybe, talking about sports while I do it might make it a little bit more interesting to me, okay? Those are basically your four choices. You take this route right next to Algebra 2, which is kind of what you've been groomed for in terms of your algebra skills. Or you come down to a slightly harder choice. This is probably the hardest class that you might be interested in taking, either the college algebra, college trig, or college algebra intro to stat. So you can go in either direction here. Or you come down here if you're a senior, okay? If you're a sophomore right now, you cannot take any of these classes down here. You can't do it, right? So you are headed to something over here, okay? You are a little bit stuck with your choices and choosing something like an ACC class right here or here. Let's see. Somebody had sounded like a question. Josh, go ahead, bud.
Yeah. So, like, who teaches the senior only classes or whatever?
So we don't know yet. We really don't know who's going to be teaching what because we don't know how many sections we'll have of everything. I can tell you who's teaching it right now. Right now, data and decisions and probability and statistics, I have a section of that, and Miss Sigmund has a section of that. You would really enjoy being with both of us. If you like this class so far, if you like me as a teacher, you would really dig that class. Statistical reasoning, we definitely don't know who's teaching that, because right now it's Mrs. Johnson and she's retiring. So we don't know who's going to teach that one. And I really cannot even guess who it's going to be. Probably not me, because I'm either doing like this route right here, college algebra, and I'm going to stick with like 3 sections of this and 2 sections of Algebra 2 like I have right now, or I teach 4 sections of this, which is basically what pre-calculus with trig was called, because that's exactly what it was. It was college algebra first semester, college trig second, or vice versa. And then I would teach 1 section of data and decisions and prop stat. So I don't even know if I'm teaching these down here. Almost guaranteed Miss Sigmund will be teaching at least one of these. She's awesome. If you haven't had her, she's great. The stat reasoning though, no idea. Now AP statistics, certainly an option for seniors, but that is an AP math class with AP expectations and AP workload and AP rigor. Like that's priority number 1 probably for you as a math student. If you're coming out of Algebra 2 and you take a big jump up to AP stat, that's probably the biggest leap that you could take. Okay, so talk to me. Questions about any of these classes, anything at all? Okay, if you don't have questions, I would love for you to fill this form out right now if you have not done so yet. Okay, first name, last name, click on Algebra 2. Let me know if you're going to be in 11th grade or 12th grade for next year. And select any classes that you would sign up for. Now, the reason that you could select more than one is I have some students that might take, like coming from my advanced class, might take AP Stat and AP Calc. For you, you're probably just going to select, I would guess, one of these 3 options here, or one of these 2 options down here. Now you have to be a senior to take any of these 3 classes down here, because those are senior only. Okay, so if you're going to be a junior, you're picking one of these 3, and you can see it's ACC, ACC, ACC. And if there is an issue with the fact that there is a price tag attached to that, that's a conversation that you and I should have separately. Okay, one-on-one, I'm happy to do that. Okay. And then the last question at the bottom is something that I'm going to use to reach out to you guys to have that one-on-one conversation. Do you still need help? Now that I've said that whole thing, do you still need help figuring out which class is best for you? Because again, this is not set in stone. Okay, this is not necessarily your plan for next year. It's just what you think your plan might be for next year. And then we kind of figure it out from there. So take a minute, make some choices, and then I'll let you know what's happening. Okay. And for seniors, hopefully, if you had a chance to fill out that that senior only form, that's awesome. I'd love to kind of just hear where you guys are headed, and if you want some guidance, I'm happy to do that. So I'll let you guys do your thing. And in just a minute or 2, I will let you know what we're going to do the rest of the time. I think we are out of here a little earlier than usual. Right? We started at 12:30. It's right at 1:15, so we'll have 20 or so minutes to knock out just a little bit of practice with Factoring Quadratics one last time before we move on tomorrow. And again, unmute yourself, give me a shout if you have a question about a specific class, or maybe you say, hey, Rosie, I don't know what to take. I can talk to you, just you, in front of everybody, if you don't mind, about what I think, okay?
Hey, Rosie.
Teach.
So what about like me doing like the semester classes next year?
That'd be fine, yeah.
You think that'd be like a good...
Yeah, I think so. Data and decisions is prop stat, kind of gets a bad rap because it's like senior only electives. It's not gonna make your transcript look all that nice when we think about like marketing yourself to life after high school if you go on to college and they care about what classes you took. But you can learn a lot. Like we have taught a lot of interesting things, a lot of useful things. It's skills that I think you might not learn in other classes that you'll actually, like my life actually is easier now that I took those classes. So, and if that's not what school is for, then I don't know what it's for. So yeah, I think it's a good choice.
Okay.
Can I use the restroom?
Yeah.
Okay, Rosie, I have like no idea what I want to take, but like Austin told me that she wanted me to take college algebra and stuff, but I'm not like entirely sure what I should do.
I think you should probably pick one of those tracks directly next to the Algebra II. It just depends on maybe what you're thinking about doing like after next year. Have you thought about like maybe like what you want to do after you graduate?
I want to be a nurse, and I was looking at like what I need, like my prerequisites and stuff, and it's a lot of like I need statistic classes.
Sure. Yeah.
To take those.
That's definitely, as soon as you said nurse, my brain went directly to statistics.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of how much stats do you want? And how much other stuff would you like with it? Like, do you want to just do stats? Because you could definitely go into statistical reasoning.
Yeah.
Because that would give you a year-long stats intro. You'd feel a lot more prepared maybe for like a stat 101 or like a math for nursing. Like, because they have career-specific math classes. They have math for business majors. They have math for engineering majors. They have math for medical. You know, they have like specific kind of classes like that. And obviously being a nurse, understanding dosing and like all that kind of stuff is like life and death, right? So you really want to understand that stuff really well. So I think that your path is probably one of two, either statistical reasoning the whole way, or you could take that college algebra and then intro to stats.
Okay.
You could do either one of those. The benefit to taking that second one, the college algebra, and then intro to stats would be the ACC credit.
Okay.
But if you want to think about whether or not that's worth it.
Yeah.
To do that, you kind of want to think about, well, if I'm going to go and study nursing, where might I do that? And so maybe you run off some ideas in your head and you say, okay, well, maybe like CU Denver, or maybe Mesa, or maybe Metro, or whatever, right? You kind of run through some options if you're going to stick around Colorado. And you like look into those schools and say, okay, is a class like ACC college algebra going to benefit me in the way that maybe I don't have to take that when I get to Metro? Like, is that class enough to qualify for like, a first semester freshman year math class? Is that worth it, right? That's kind of the question you want to ask yourself, but you want to ask Metro, or you want to ask Mesa, or you want to ask CU Denver, or wherever you're thinking about going. So I think either one of those paths would be good. AP Stat, also good, but that like you would have to make that priority number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if you want to do that.
I'm just trying to make my senior year like somewhat easy. I don't know.
AP Stat would not do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So either one of those.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Rose.
Oh,
Yes, Josh.
So for the seniors only courses or whatever, like data and decisions and probability and statistics, like can you like go more in depth like as to what they teach you and how you can use that, I guess?
Sure. So right now we're in the probability and statistics part, and what Sigmund and I have started to brainstorm is how we wanted to break down the different units. And we're doing it kind of split in half, where we learn the basics of statistics, which gets into like how to graph things differently. Like there's different ways to represent statistics visually. So we're graphing like bar graphs and line graphs and stem and leaf plots, which maybe you've never heard of, and histograms, like maybe you've never heard of. And we're testing that data for measures of spread, like how spread out is the data, or is it all kind of gathered around the center? The way that it's spread out, can I understand, like, is there kind of like an average around the middle, or is the data super spread out? And are there outliers? Is there somebody that like if we're looking at SAT scores, is there somebody that is so far above or below kind of the middle? It's called measures of central tendency. where's the middle at, and kind of where do I fall compared to that? We get into distributing data. It's called a bell curve. I don't know if you've seen it before, but it's called the normal distribution. We look at really just kind of analyzing large data. So I don't know if the push for understanding big data is something that's really valuable to companies right now, where they look at their customer base and they look at everybody and they say, okay, what do people want? What are people doing? How do I market well to certain groups? How do I understand the trends that I see in fashion, in music, in art, in food, in education? And we learn about how we can take data and make it easier to understand what's happening. Then we just go into basics of probability. You take out a deck of cards, you take out a dice or two, a die or two. And how do I understand the chances of things? Like, what are my chances of winning the lottery? Probability, right? I want to understand how likely an event is to occur, right? If I drive down the road at 55 compared to driving down the road at 75, what are my chances of getting in an accident or something like that? Or what are my chances of getting pulled over, right? So there's a lot of different things that we look at on the statistics side of things and the probability side of things. First semester data and decisions. The things that we did, I wonder if I can look back at that actually on my Canvas, because I have the old data and decisions stuff. It's not all on there necessarily, but let me see if I look at modules. We look at how data is either represented for us, like when we look at a new source, how is it being presented to us, and how are we supposed to kind of make our way through the garbage and find the truth in that, because so much of data is misleading and is used to help sell something to you or get you to think one thing instead of another, right? There's a lot of bias out there, and so we're trying to figure out ways to avoid and kind of see through the bias. But we also we did a project on how to buy a car, how to buy your first car, and how do I pick the best one, and how do I budget that, and how do I use, all right, here's the job that I've got, here's how many hours I'm working, here's how loans work, and here's how credit works, and here's how taxes work, and how am I going to be financially fluent so that I can make the most of whatever income I've got, no matter what tax bracket you end up falling into. So things like that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So it's definitely a worthwhile class. We definitely get a lot of things done, but it will be group of people that probably haven't done all that well even this year. That's a good place for them to go to get that 4th math credit senior year and learn some useful knowledge. So there's a pretty wide range of people that are in there, but a lot of times it's people that are coming out of Algebra II that didn't get A's. Because maybe they just don't want to go on. They're not going to a college algebra kind of thing because they've always struggled, and that's okay. And I want to get some useful knowledge and keep going. So, any other questions? Yeah.
Rodney, what should I go into?
I'd have to look a little closer, Cal. Let me shoot me a message right now, and just ask that question, and you and I can chat more individually. I just want to kind of get us going on what's coming up next, but I think you've got some choice for sure, which is why if I had one easy choice for you, I would just tell you, but I think you've got some choice, and I kind of want to have a more in-depth conversation to make that work. Mia, is that what you were going to ask as well?
Yeah, I was going to say that I already filled it out, and
Okay.
I'm in the same boat as Paige, to where Miss Austin told me to do college algebra.
Okay.
But I talked with my brother, and he also said that I should do trig, college trig.
So you could do the college algebra first semester and then the college trig second.
Okay.
Because they're both semester classes, so that could work. And here's the thing: if you guys fill it out and you realize that you've made it, you're like, no, I don't really want to take that class now that I heard what he had to say. You can fill it out again, and I will always delete all of the old submissions except for the newest one. So if you submit it twice, I'll just get rid of the first one because you feel like maybe you've changed your mind, and I'll use that as a guide. And then as we get closer to next Wednesday, like probably on Tuesday, I'll say, okay, is your choice that you just made the choice you're going to make? And if you're good with it, then you just keep it. If you're not good with it, then you make one last resubmission, just so I know where you're at, so I can say, this is the conversation I've had with everybody, and I feel really good about their choice. They feel really good about their choice. And then, because when you register, you do it. You're going to pick that class. You're going to check that box. I will have to go back and check to make sure that I like the choice that you made. But I want you to feel like you've made the right choice. So, cool. So, any other kind of general questions that maybe I can answer? I feel like I tried to get as much information to you as I could. Cool.
I have one more question. So for the probability and statistics and data, and decisions, do you think it's better for me to take like both, like one in first semester and one the other, or like if I do that, then I'm not learning the full gist of like the graphs and stuff and the probabilities and statistics, etc.?
No, I mean, so there's semester classes that do slightly different things. So you would sign up for data and decisions first semester, and then separately probability and statistics second semester. So you have a full year.
Oh, so it's not like a thing where you do like a full year of like.
No, you're not taking 2 full year classes. You're taking 1 class fall semester, 1 class second semester.
Oh, dude, that's a bet. Okay.
And your brother's taking it with me right now. So if you have questions, ask him too, because he can tell you from the student side kind of what it looks like.
Bet.
So. All right, cool. So let me let you know what I'd like you guys to do today if you haven't started yet, because you've been listening to me. The plan is just to get a little bit more practice in. If you click on today's announcement or you click on assignments, you will see classwork 2.3C, 5 questions of factoring. Okay, and I want you to try to do as much of that on your own as you can, but stick around. Don't leave to do it. I want you to be here so that if questions do come up, or if I work through 1 or 2 of them together, I want to see what you can do. We're trying to build to that point where we start actually doing this for real, where I give you some credit and we try it for a grade. I want that to happen sooner rather than later. So open that up. Click on the announcement for today. Click on where it says today's work, submit classwork 2.3. See here.
Rosengren. It says I'm access denied to the homework.
Oh, let me fix that. Why did it do that? That's so weird. I can change that real quick. No, it says DCD. Anyone in this group with this link can view. That makes no sense. Let me fix it. Let's see. It's crazy. Oh, I should probably publish it. Duh. Stupid. I got you. Save and publish. All right, refresh it. You should be good to go. Sorry about that. Now, if you need a few minutes, right, you can it's due before midnight tonight. So I know I've been talking a lot. I really wanted to make sure that the registration stuff is what got handled. And realistically, I probably spent a little bit more time on it than I had planned, but 5 questions in this last 10 or 15 minutes, whatever we've got. If you've got a handle on it, it might work okay. But so do your thing, but give me a shout if you have questions. I'm happy to work through anything with you. At this point, hopefully you're getting more comfortable with it though. Cool. So time is yours. Do your thing. I'm going to move this back up to the top so that if you guys want to see anything worked out, I'm happy to do that. But stick around and knock it out. And then when we're done, I will see you guys tomorrow and just get that submitted to Canvas.
So we staying here?
Yeah, stick around. Yeah, stick around, knock it out, so that if questions do come up, or if you just want to see an answer just to make sure you're getting it right, you can just unmute yourself and give me a shout.
Hey, Rosie.
Yeah.
Do you have can you look at what I did yesterday for the 7 problems and see if I did it right and tell me if I did it so I just don't do this the wrong way too?
Yeah, right, because if you messed up yesterday, right, you're probably going to mess up again today. So that's a really good idea. So, all right, let's see. Classwork 2.3B.
Because it didn't seem right to me.
It didn't seem right?
No, I don't know if I did it right.
All right, let's see. Number 1 looks good. Number 2 looks good. Number 3 looks good. Number 4 looks good. 5 looks good. Nice. 6 looks good because we need both of them negative to get to -10, but multiply back to a positive. Yeah, that's perfect. Ashton, looks good, man.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Don't change a thing. And
Mr. Rosengren?
I like that you're showing me the diamond problem too. If I see that, that's enough work to get things factored.
Mr. Rosie?
Yeah, what's up, Trev?
So again, my Wi-Fi not working.
All
I
good.
got here halfway through.
Okay.
What are the questions that we have to answer?
So if you go to today's announcement.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Right there. But the thing that you miss is that we started talking about registration for next year and what class maybe you should take. I kind of laid out what each one looks like. So what you might want to do is when class is done, I will save this recording and I'll put it up. You might want to watch that first 20 minutes or so.
Sounds good.
Kind of listen to what your choices are because there's a form that I put on there. It's unofficial. It's just kind of like, what do you think you want to take? But I want you to fill out today so that I can see where everybody's at and answer any questions you guys have.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Rosie?
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm about to submit it. Am I good to go?
Then you're good. Yeah. When you submit it, you are good to go, and I will catch you tomorrow.
All right, bro. You have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, man. You too.
Is it just a coincidence that once you factor it out?
Mr. Rosengren, I'm finished. I'm gonna kerdoodle out
All right.
of here.
See you. Later. Go ahead, Ethan. Sorry.
Is it just a coincidence that once you factor out after the diamond problem that the answers are the negatives of the two numbers that you get from the diamond problem?
That is not a coincidence because you're just looking at like x plus whatever or x minus whatever. And then eventually when you solve, if it's x plus 5, then I subtract 5, so it's the opposite. Or if it's x minus 2, I'm going to add 2, and it's the exact opposite. No, that is not a coincidence, and that's a very good catch, is that whatever your diamond problem numbers are, like those are the numbers that show up in the factors, but the actual x-intercepts will be the opposite. Now that's only when a is 1, right? Because these numbers show up in here. When we get to a being equal to 2 or 3 or 5 or something like that, your diamond problem numbers aren't necessarily exactly the opposite of your x-intercepts, because we might have like 2x plus 5 or 3x minus 1 or something like that, and that's going to kind of mess with the size of those numbers.
So before we get to a is 1, can I just solve like that?
So the idea is you want to follow the instructions that might say factor and find the x-intercepts, which means I have to see that factored step that looks like this. But if it says, here's this quadratic, find the x-intercepts, and you have knowledge as to relationships between like the diamond problem and exactly what the answers are going to look like, then you can absolutely make that leap as long as the instructions don't explicitly say factor.
Got it. All right.
Yeah, so you just kind of want to heed those instructions and pay close attention to whatever they're asking us to do. Yeah. And right now we're just factoring. I want to be able to get to that step. Yeah.
Rosie, I'm all done.
All set? Okay, good.
Okay, perfect.
You guys are good to go. Thank you guys for hanging out. I will see you tomorrow when you're done. And you can just log off when you are done. I trust that you are done and submitted. Back to our
good.
Tomorrow we'll be back.
Bye.
See you, Mr. Wade. Adios. And if you guys want to see answers to anything, or if you say, all right, here's what I got, is this correct? You know, making sure that first one's right, or the second one's right, or something like that, or number 5, right, the one where B is gone. Really similar to number 7 from yesterday. So. I'm here, I'm just going down. I want to see what you guys have said. Nice, I got a bunch of responses.
Hey, Rosie, I have a question.
Yeah.
What time does the next class start at?
Next class starts at 1:20.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
So we're done in like 3 or 4 minutes. Then you get the 5 minutes in between. So yeah, 1:20 to 2:05. And then 8th is 2:10 to 2:55. The schedule I actually put up on today's announcement, because I know Wednesdays are a little bit weird with the homeroom schedule. So if you want to open up the very first link up at the top, it says like Wednesday schedule. You can click on that and it'll open up the schedule for the week, and you can save it somewhere in case you want to know when you need to be where.
Hey Rosie, I'm done. I'm gonna go.
All right.
Just let me know when it's time to talk about it.
Yeah. Just shoot me a message one way or the other, and we can chat a little bit. Kind of back and forth, either like later this afternoon or tonight after I put my kids to bed. Usually I jump on the computer like right around 8:15, and I'll answer all those messages. So maybe we can chat around that.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, we can.
Cool. Sounds good. See you then.
Hey, Rosie, I'm done. Thank
Awesome.
you.
So Paige, did you make a choice yet? Did you think about which way you were leaning?
I think I might do statistics just because, like, I feel like I looked at the school I want to go to, and I looked at what I need for my prerequisites, and it's all statistics, and it like
most
are.
Unless you're heading like in a math or an engineering, or like a computer science or something like that. Statistics is way more valuable. I think 100% of the world should understand statistics, but like 5% of the world needs to really get calculus, right? You know what I mean? And that's kind of what college algebra is leading you in a direction to, is towards calculus.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need calculus to be a nurse. You need statistics for sure.
Yeah, so I just figured
that's a great choice. Yeah.
The best.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. See ya.
See you, Rosie.
Bye, Ash.
Done.
See ya.
Hey, Rosengrant, I'm done too. And then I also was wondering if we could talk about what I want to do later too, because I have some questions I want to ask you.
Well, if you want, I mean, we can chat right now if you don't mind talking about it in front of everybody. Or
I'd much rather just do it like personally, if that's okay with you.
So let's kind of like I said with Calvin, shoot me a message right now, either email or Canvas inbox, so I know that it's sitting there waiting for me.
Yeah, I did already.
Perfect. So then tonight, when I hop on the computer, like after 8 o'clock, I'll shoot you a message about choices that I think might be good for you, and we can kind of go back and forth that way.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You got it, bud. Yep. See ya.
Peace out, Rosie.
Later, Jackson.
Hey, Mr. Rosengrant?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm still not quite getting the hang of the ones that's missing BX. Is it cool if we can like walk through it?
Yes, definitely. So something like number 5, the thing that we want to realize is that if a term is missing, like the X term is not there, that means the number that goes with it is 0, because that's nothing, right? And that's what makes things disappear. So when I set this up, and again, I can just keep this, I can keep the setup exactly the same, problem to problem. All I do is I just change some numbers. This is all the same over and over and over again. What we see is that B is 0. Right, is it x squared minus 16? Is that what I picked?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So then C is negative 16. And so I want to set up, do you do the diamond, Ethan, or do you do the blank plus blank?
I do the diamond.
Okay, cool. So I want to add to 0 and multiply to negative 16. Right? And so when I think about how to multiply to negative 16, I don't really think about the negative part, I just think about the 16. And so it's always 1 and the number to start. And then I say, okay, does 2 go in? Does 3 go in? Does 4 go in? Does 5 go in? Does 6? And just kind of work through those options, right? And so, okay, does 2 go into 16? Yeah, 2 times 8 is 16, so maybe there's a choice. Does 3 go in? No, because it goes 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Right? It kind of skips over 16, which is why in the calculator, 16 divided by 3 is a decimal, so I skip the decimals. Does 4 go in? Absolutely. It's actually 4 times 4, right, to get us to 16. And so those are my only 3 options, because then, like, as soon as my list wraps around and I either see the same number or I see the next number that I would try, I know my list is done. Now, if I want to add to 0, actually, let me back up. If I want to multiply to a negative, one of my numbers is negative and one of my numbers is positive. I got to have opposite signs if I'm going to multiply to a negative. So I know either this list on the left or this list on the right has the negatives in front, but I want to add to 0. And if I want to add to 0, it's got to be numbers that are the exact same, just opposite signs, right? 3 and negative 3 like yesterday, or 5 and negative 5, or negative 10 and 10, or negative 4 and positive 4. Because if I add these together and I make ones, let's say I made the first one's negative, well, the bigger one's positive, and I would have gotten a positive number right here. Well, I didn't get a positive, I got a 0, right? Same thing here, like that's 6, not 0. And the same is true if I go this way, right? If I pick the negatives for the bigger numbers, then my B would have been there and would have been some negative number. So when you have this case where B is missing, it's always going to be, you've got the same numbers in here, just opposite signs, x plus 4 and x minus 4.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, all right, I got it.
All right, that was a bell. I'm gonna see you guys later. Finish up. If you have any questions, give me a shout. This isn't due until midnight, so get it done at your leisure here in the next 10 and a half hours. All right, see you guys tomorrow. Thanks.